going, everybody? Just knocking the dust off. I'm gonna get ready to load the tractor up. Tomorrow I'm gonna do some bush hogging. I'm gonna get going early in the morning, and while I'm there, I'm gonna see a man about a pond. Well, what a day this was. So I went back and I bush hogged again for the second time on my property. And I was up really early this morning. It was dark when I left. Took off and got there early because I had to meet the pond guy. I was meeting a guy about digging a pond at my property. He wanted to be at 8 o'clock, and I live an hour and a half away, so I left 2 hours early just to be sure that I got there on time. And so I get there on time. I'm unloading, just checking over some things on the tractor to make sure I'm good for today. I decided to go ahead and blow out the front screen just to make sure there was no trash in there. It was pretty clean, but I thought I'd go ahead and check it anyway. So I undid the grill guard, brush guard, pulled it down, blew out the screen with an air blower, and got it all clean, put it back together. And right as I was putting the grill guard back up, the pond guy shows up. So I stopped what I was doing, I walked away, shake his hand, and then we started talking about pond stuff. We walked down to the property and talked about the pond, or the potential pond. And we finished that, so then I start mowing, bush hogging, and I had to get off the tractor for a second, and then when I got off, I looked, I'm like, my grill guard is still down. And not only is it down, it's bent all to pieces, because I guess it got jammed up when I raised and lower my loader bucket. It must have got hung up in that, and now it's just bent all to pieces. So another day. So the first time I bush hogged, I lost the stabilizer bar. Don't know where that got to. Spent $100 to get Kioti to send me another one, and now day 2 out there, and now I got the brush guard issue. So there's no telling how much that's going to cost, but I'll let you know. I bet you it's going to be $300 or $400. I bet. But other than that, it was a pretty good day. I didn't film a whole lot out there bush hogging because it's so hot, and it takes so long to bush hog out there because the terrain is so rough. You can't really keep and maintain a good speed, so you got to go real slow. You change the speed all the time, and then so I would just try to knock it out in small sections, win small battles at a time. So I'd do a small section, and then I'd go to the next section and do that, knock it out, maybe a half acre or acre at a time, depending on where I was on the property. So I ended up getting most of it done. So I mean, that worked out really well. Figured out some good things on my loading my tractor. I got some tips from some of you guys actually. I realized the first time I loaded it, I had way too much tongue weight on the front end, and I knew that. Well, I didn't know that, but I felt like I probably did have too much tongue weight on there. So this time I backed it off a little bit, put just a little bit more over the axle, and I was had the loader bucket level, and I was still probably 1.5 feet or so from the front of the tractor. So I took a piece of duct tape and I marked that just to see if it would, if that was going to work. Then I wanted to be able to reference that again. So the bush hog hung off the back of the trailer a little bit, at least the wheel did, and I could have unbuttoned that, taken it off, or unbolted it, taken it off, or bent it up, or shifted it up or something, but I didn't even mess with it. I mean, it hung over maybe 1 foot or so. I didn't really consider it a big deal, so I think it was fine. Didn't have any issues with that. So it pulled really well. As a matter of fact, there was a lot less bounce in the truck, so that's probably the way to go. So I'm gonna try that one more time with the bush hog on there. I'm sure when I got the backhoe on there, the weight will probably be different, and I may have to pull forward just a little bit more just to distribute the weight a little better. But with the bush hog, at least now I know where to park it. One of you guys, I believe his name is Steven, he commented on my last video about how I had the back end, the rear end tied down, and he suggested that I raise the bush hog, tie it down underneath the bush hog, and let the bush hog just rest on the chains, once it's tied down, and that way you don't damage the top of your bush hog with the chains. So I did that, and that worked out really well. I think I'm gonna continue to do that. I don't really see any issues with letting the backhoe rest on there. It was all very secure. So, but at least now the chains aren't on top of the backhoe, causing damage, scratching it up, and all that stuff. So that worked out pretty well too. So I appreciate the tips. Thanks. It turned out to be a pretty good day. I'm happy with it. It's completely filthy, but I'm getting ready to take off for a vacation really early tomorrow morning, so I had to come home real quick, just cover it up. I took the air blower and blew it off just to get the dust out of it. But you know, I think it's clean enough for now. And as soon as I get back, I'll wash it off. But so now my next task is to call Kioti. I guess Monday, because this is Saturday. Call them and see what a brush guard's going to cost, because I don't really have the skills to bend that back into shape. So it's just going to get replaced. The good thing is the bolts, where it's bolted on, none of that's damaged, so it should pop on and off really easy. So it's really bent all to pieces. Look at that. I mean, the loader must have got a hold of it and just pulled it apart, but it didn't do any damage to the loader or the cross member or anything, so I guess I'm lucky there. So the bolts are, those are intact, they're not bent or anything, so that should unbolt pretty easily. So at least that's a plus. It won't be hard to replace. Hold on a minute. Let me think. I gotta think. Hold on.